to experience math as their students do within the classroom, struggle as they do. We call that productive struggle because it's not to frustrate, but it's to cause them to think more deeply and to create the learning that helps them to maintain their understanding of math for longer periods of time. What else I can add is that we have a survey that was sent out. The survey results so far, and they've been static since Sunday, so I'm not sure we're going to get any more responses, but it's here for our team to look at and also to share with Mr. Sable. And then the other thing I need to add is we have a band concert coming up next week, Tuesday, for beginning band. It is their first concert, so they wait until a little later in the year because kids are first learning their instruments, and then when they are ready, or they think they're going to be ready, they will schedule a concert. So February 4th is that concert, 6 p.m. at the middle school. And in the last about 30 minutes, Mrs. Morris will direct our beginning band that night. So if you're available, please come and check out our beginning band with their beginning sounds.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Lee? Last Saturday night, we held our annual Winterfest dance. We had about 175 students participate, which may seem low, but in relation, Winterfest tends to be a little drop off after homecoming. But we had a great turnout, and we had a good help with our chaperones, and everybody got home safely when it got cold later that night. So that's all those principal sleepless nights when you have an event when the weather starts to get a little cold. But the kids had a great time. We had a nice DJ from Fond du Lac come down. Last week, Monday, our math team competed in our, it's not really Dodge County because we have Kettle Moraine Lutheran and St. Lawrence, but there's about 8 teams that once a month get together and participate in a math meet, and our team did really well. Matt Schneider took 3rd place for seniors. He had taken place 2nd place the meet before, so he's placed in 2 out of our 4 meets so far. And then we will be traveling to Lamira in February, and then we're hosting in March. And basically what they do is there's a series of 5 tests. The first 4 are 15-minute tests, one of which you don't use your calculator, the other 3 you do. Then the 5th test is a team test. So basically what will happen is the Mayville team will be in one room, they complete 4 to 5 tests by themselves, and then the last test is a team test. Everything gets tabulated at the end, and then we recognize the kids. But it's good to see that we've got our math team going again, and we'll be hosting in 2 months. And then last 2 weeks ago, we had our elective night. I kind of shared that with you, but had a really good turnout, had a lot of good questions from our incoming parents. A lot of people visited our college tables and our youth apprenticeship tables and all that fun stuff. And hopefully by the end of this week, we'll be able to give Bob and Scott numbers of where our course selections are coming in. So, but, the high school team did a really good job that evening with our parents and kids.
All right, thank you, Lee. Moving on to new business, resolution 1920-143. Approval of monetary donation from the Dr. R.G. Raymond and Sarah Raymond Foundation.
So moved.
Motion by Joe. Second by Jim. Jim, you're pretty familiar with this one. You
Yeah.
get this one every year
Yeah, this has been every year for as long as I can remember,
for 6th grade camp.
6th grade camp.
Yeah. So they're doing some awesome solicitation of funds out there right now. So we have a group that's called like parents of 6th grade camp that has come together to help as well. The costs have gone up with camp, period. And some of the socioeconomics and the people being able to afford camp are going down. So with that, really looking for additional grants, donations to support it. So they've done a very nice job of collecting funds. So this is one of those tonight. And as we get closer, we'll have the 6th grade camp. Let's have, actually afterwards, let's have 6th grade camp kids come and talk about the experience and the staff. So, because I think that's one of the pieces you enjoy, I enjoy too, when they come and they tell us their story, share pictures of the event. So when 8th grade graduation comes, everybody says they're, 6th grade camp, 6th grade camp, 6th grade camp. It's a big event. So Yeah, so they've already written a thank you for this, just so you're aware, so they're on top
What's
of
the
it.
connection of this foundation to us? Does anybody know like why they donate to Mayville sixth grade camp?
Well, that used to be part of the Mayville School District in the 50s.
Okay.
North Brownsville died in the 50s. Okay, so it's been.
Oh, okay, wow.
Who's ever invested the money did well.
No kidding. All right.
Any questions on this gift? Joe?
Aye.
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 Hi.
Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 1920-144, approval of 2020-2021 open enrollment seats.
So moved.
Motion by Miller,
Second.
second by Dick.
Okay,
Okay,
this is a board workshop, is what it is next, guys, okay? So, to me, I included a Google Doc here for our planning document, and we have our administrative team here, and this is going to be an engagement event for all of us. So, because some of the numbers, when we looked at it, were kind of like, well, what do you think, guy? What is going on? So originally this document, okay, the story with this is we have to approve open enrollment seats every January, or getting ready for the window. This document had on it a formula about 25% special education, okay? So, so then I started calculating, because that's what the document says, getting ready for a meeting, 25, what does it mean to have 25% of the seats available for special education for us? Time out. I deleted the whole thing about special education, because right now, we are coming to you with 2 new hires at the next board meeting, or within the next month here, for special education. Plus, we presented many special education aid new hires. We created a new program, a self-contained emotional needs program. We're doing a lot of things right. We're doing good things by for our community, for our learning organization. In the meantime, we want to say no room at the end as far as coming through open enrollment. If you want to come to Mayville and you have an IEP, move to the school district, is what it comes down to. Because we are at full capacity. She shared with you a teacher overload before. So we looked around on all of our positions at every caseload and decided that we should say no for open enrollment for special education. Now, we want to have a data trend where we see more in than out. So we definitely need to keep the doors open in order to help influence that, because outs can be unlimited. You have, there's no cap on that. Ins, we're now saying we're gonna put a cap on. Well, the only way we would be doing that is because of staffing. Otherwise, you'd want to keep it wide open when it comes to the regular ed, with numbers equal stability for the district, right? So, what's the driver of this entire document is a maximum class size by policy. Now, we try to stay near that number. So to me, it's a recommendation, suggestion, guideline. It is not the, oh my goodness, you're over, we have to add a teacher. We can't operate like that, because the numbers ebb and flow. Right now, we're up 10 kids since the third Friday count. Okay, so if they all would have all came in one class, what would we have done in the middle of the year, trying to hire a regular ed classroom teacher? So it gets challenging. So in the world of EC is special education only. So if you cannot open enroll for special ed, therefore you cannot open enroll into our EC program. So 4K, so it's a half-day program that we have here in Mayville. And right now we're saying, no, we're not looking for special education through open enrollment. However, based upon our maximum by policy of 18 per grade level, so we're saying we have room for 90 students, which would mean we have room for 11 students. The one continuing special ed open enrollment piece, right now, these 2 columns are irrelevant as far as the topic goes, because we're really just talking about maximum class size and open enrollment. So what we have done is shared with you the data. Check this out. in kindergarten right now, we do have 6 students that are in special education. So this is currently what the caseload looks like at each one of these age levels for special ed. So we have 6 students that we're projecting EC. Right now, we have 3 students that will be this year's E students continuing in EC. Okay, for next year. Early childhood is 3 and under. So, so with this, we're saying that we would have 11 spots available for open enrollment. Becky, right now, how many sections of 4K do we have?
5.
Right? Okay, so we would be saying status quo and would love to see 90 students. So I don't have any concerns about having 11 seats as a cap. Okay? Because after that, we would be saying we need to hire another teacher. Be a good problem to have. So at kindergarten, we were saying right now, if we have 22 as a magic number, that we would have 88 spots available, which would mean 17 seats would be available. Becky, what's our class size average that we staff?
Right now?
Yep, and I will look to any
About
administrator, but
16.
just you're this age level, so about 16. And if we get to 22, it's a big deal to us. Like we are not trying to do that. So this is a max by policy, but our practice is something different. So need some discussion here, because if we were to actually have 17 students open enrolled to us, we would have to add on staff. Actually, right now, with 16, doing the math here, times 4 is 64. So we are actually, we are saying we only have 3. But we're not, because this document, which reflects a policy, is stating that. And we truly are not in a position where we want to go around adding on staff. But we want to have as many kids attend as possible. There. I'm going to go take a break. I'll come back and see what you have to say on that. Because that's the challenge that I'm having too.
I think at the earlier grade levels, I think we always, not according to policy, but we always tried to stay at maximum of 18.
Okay. So we could put that number to 18.
When you say
How does past practice
younger
is
grade
showing
level, are
this?
you talking all the way through
What-
second grade, or are you talking just the littlest one?
What we did last year at this identical form, how did it actually work out?
What we did do is we did unlimited open enrollment in, and we capped the special education piece, okay?
Okay.
And right now, our data trend is that we are doing this. We have been more open enrollment in than out, and we are now encroaching this almost level position. So you can have a policy that was unlimited, but we're not seeing that data trend happen. However, like, we could really be in a tough spot if 7 kids decided that, which would be wonderful, that they were going to open enroll in the kindergarten. Because right now, we would be over that 16 number. So if we use a number like John had mentioned of 18, we would be at 72. That would give us 11 spots available. Becky's not going to be a fan of 18. And I'm very good.
Oh, I'm a
very
fan of
good with
18.
the dialogue.
What I liked more about what John said was through second grade. You missed that.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, ouch.
That I'm a
Got
fan
me.
of.
Got me. Yeah.
I can make 18 work in
Does
kindergarten.
this have to
We're
be
gonna have
solved
18
tonight,
over
would be
there.
my first question.
Yeah, we need to approve it. We don't have another board meeting.
Okay, so it has to be.
So you really have 2 actions items on this meeting, and it's 7:30.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yep, so we just have a couple of these that I think are standing out, and then, but like I'll just let that sit for kindergarten. And I'll
I'd
go
like
on
to
some
ask a
others.
question of Becky. If Scott wasn't sitting here, what would be your recommendation on that?
Oh, jeez, this is bad.
No, I'm trying to, what would be your recommendation if he wasn't sitting here and had no influence on you?
I would love to see 18. We could make 18 in classrooms work. That would be ideal.
Across the building.
Across the building, I would say 18. Right now, we've got second grade classrooms that are 22 and 23. We've got 3 sections of second grade this year.
Scott, with the budget and everything, this is where you're at.
Well, I think we have reductions that we have to make. For sure, so we're in declining enrollment mode, we are stabilizing, we grew by 10 students just since school started.
Correct.
Those 10 students
Well,
only
the-
impact our aid
lost
for
30
next
plus.
year, but we still shrunk a little bit.
Correct.
So I think for us, it's a story of open enrollment. It's a big factor to us. As we have closed we had additional revenue coming in before of open enrollment dollars. So right now, not only do we have the declining enrollment factor, but instead of having 20 students plus an open enrollment at $8,000 a piece, that's $160,000, we've lost the revenue. So right now, we're at almost a neutral. So there's another budget concern that we have. We have to adjust for that.
Can we, I'd recommend we go with what's on here against my own wishes, but I think it's time to start strategically planning for the following year. Because right now, at the 9th hour crunch time, and we've already been strategically planning, but this has got to be a serious. I'm a big fan of the lower grade levels being, and it's just based upon things I read. You might disagree, and there could be some disagreements, and I've seen some articles that are different. The smaller class sizes for our young kids matter. The larger class size, for some of the upper grades, show it doesn't matter as much. So,
I'm
and
not
that's
gonna
just based
debate it at
upon
all.
what I've read.
So here's the thing for me, I won't debate that at all. And one of the other variables, if you look at what's happening today, is that we have students coming to school with not being read a book,
Correct.
okay? Not only not
This
being
is
read
why
a book,
This to me,
but society's not
It's not
even
right.
engaging with them,
so,
and they're given this.
well, correct.
Catch you later on the
Catch
other
you later,
side.
good luck
You know,
to you.
so the social skills and all the things that come along with our more rose-colored tinted glasses on how we think things should be. That's not necessarily what's happening. So our staff are feeling like they're actually dealing with some additional behavior challenges and just school readiness piece based upon where those students are meeting us. So
But
right
here's-
when they enter the rooms in 4K, where are they at and what are the challenges? that
Here's
come
my
with that?
concern. We're gonna pass this, probably just like this, because, we're not gonna strategically, change, I think, personally. But then what are we gonna do the next time? I think it's time, we as a Board of
Well, we're gonna be
Education, we've
facing
got to fix this. This is,
I don't know. Open enrollment is such
well, I get the
this.
open enrollment piece, but we've got to fix it. I think we have to fix the classroom sizes at these early grades, just based upon what the studies show, and however we maneuver that strategically, it's time to get there. Obviously, I don't think tonight or,
right now we
but
actually
it's got to be a main focus for Mayville School District. I
we would have I think Becky could contribute if we were to say for kindergarten we're going to have a 5th section. We are going to have 4 sections of 1st and 2nd grade. Right now you have 3 more sections in that building than you have right now. Where would they go?
I have 4 sections of kinder right now.
Right, but you'd go to 5.
Why would I go-
In a
because of that-
hypothetical.
In a hypothetical?
So you go to 5
Yep.
because we're not building sections of 22.
Right.
Okay, so you'd be at 5. And then instead of saying 22 class size average, you're advocating for 18, then that would need 2 more teachers.
Yep.
So those would be, that would be about 150,000 at minimum, probably about a $200,000 budget add-in for us as we're declining in.
Declining enrollment,
Okay.
then you're trying to do that. I got that,
Throws
but
right
it's
into
time
tight.
to.
And then.
No, but
I
that's
don't
where we
even know
gotta
if we
start
have the
looking at
room.
those upper grades
So
too.
facility-wise, do we
So-
have room to even
Facility-wise, to
add?
add those classrooms, we would have to, quite honestly, probably get some sort of a portable
Oh.
space to put our reading team. We could put our reading team out into a portable space. We would be able to make that work. Because right now, one of our former second grade rooms is a reading room.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, facility-wise
Yeah,
even,
Facility-wise,
when we
it's
talked
a
about
issue.
planning,
Sure.
we're also hitting some constraints there too. So, right now, So this will be my 5th year of building a budget for staff. Like the first one I kind of adopted right out of the gate, so this is my 4th year, so this will be going into year 5 was our discussion. So with that, this has been the place that we've been staffing wise, but we also have additional resources though. So we have a reading teacher, a reading specialist, a reading assistant aide, plus a half-time math interventionist that are working with the building. So we can have class sizes that are smaller, something's going to go.
Absolutely.
So now we don't have the push in professional development and support. We don't have the interventions going when things aren't going well. Like,
I think
or
the
are we cutting
psychology,
a program?
in my mind, the psychology of education is, just from what I read, and I'm not an expert, you're the expert, and you guys back there are the experts. It's just from what I read. And is small class sizes matter in these grades? Whether it's at some point we got to say, do we agree with that or don't we? And how do we strategically plan to make that a functionable idea and make it
What do you
happen? I
consider?
believe it
So
matters.
the
just based
definition
upon
is
that.
what is small. That's a
Correct.
discussion.
And that's
because what
where,
is
that's where
small
I would
mean?
need your guys'
Okay?
help to understand.
22 is small to me for a class size.
I also read.
But 12 would be wonderful.
To
15
me,
is great.
to me, that number don't mean too much if the job is getting done. Those kids can read, they can interact with each other. If it's gotta be done in those grades because it's not gonna be done further up. You're not gonna learn to write or read when you're in 8th grade if you can't read.
So
And these are the highest numbers I've ever seen, what you got.
Yeah, this is good, I'm concerned.
seats, we have unlimited, hold on. We've approved unlimited open enrollment seats since I've been here.
Yeah, well,
Unlimited is like 100 kids can come. So
But-
those are, I
but
actually
we
put a
also
number.
set 75 in and 25 out. We're getting.
Oh, yeah, but that's not a part of this report. What I'm sharing with you, yes, yes, correct. The open enrollment data that we gave to you guys earlier this school year are showing the highest numbers out. We've been here before. Actually, you know what it is? It's the ins, they're going down. The outs are very stable. It's about the same number. It's the amount of ins has been the challenge. So that's what the deal is. So I thank you for bringing that up. So the outs are very similar as far as data trends go. But what we're seeing are the earlier in the younger ages, about 60% of our open enrollment is elementary age. That's the dynamic that's changing. So, but our ins are starting to go down, the amount of them. So when you cap them, that does impact that, right? Or when we cap them, when I bring a recommendation to you and you are saying this is.
So based on what you just said, about 60% of our open enrollment is elementary age.
Oh. I can't give you the number off the top of my head for ins.
It's elementary going out, okay. I'm sorry, I misheard that.
Do
Do we know what most of our ins are? Are they coming in at elementary, middle school, high
It's
school?
all over.
All over,
There's
okay.
not, it doesn't stand out as much of a
Okay.
pattern.
Okay.
Would it be a pattern of where parents work? That
So
would be the
that's
question.
what-
And
so
that's where you can.
In our team discussion, we want to take the data now, because you're right, we're not
Yeah,
gonna
it's a
talk
pattern
about
of
it.
where
We're
they
gonna,
go.
we're
Yeah,
gonna
where
start
they're
looking
going.
at data and get strategic. So we think when we take the data, we're gonna see a scatter plot that shows us the edges of the school district.
Correct.
And so where they live is actually very easy to open enroll. We know for a fact, out of the names on this year's list, we're not aware of who these families even are. A good chunk of them have never attended the district. So when we went down the list, it was most of them are like, yeah, we don't know them, don't know them, don't know them. They're new families or there are.
And a lot of these are families I've actually called.
Right.
I would call them and say, hey, how are ya? Notice. And a lot of them will tell me they live on right on the Mayville borderline, the Oakfield borderline. And
Sure.
some are graduates from those districts and they're gonna
Absolutely.
keep their families there, so.
So when you talk about open enrollment, is there a pattern of open enrollment based upon negativity? Like if it's about flexibility, the whole system is set up for flexibility, for goodness sake.
Correct.
But if they're open and rolling to run away from a problem, that's another story.
Right.
So they're opening and rolling in because you're a district of choice. That's another piece. So those are There's a lot of dialogue to go with that. So we have work to do this winter and spring, absolutely. So we will be talking about open enrollment more and more, for sure. So strategically.
I think strategically, we should start